Hello, hello. I hope y'all are having a good night. Excuse me while I adjust my phone here for just a second. I think I think everything's cool. Good evening, good evening. I hope you guys are having a good night, a relaxing night. I just got home from the gym. I just killed a salad from Chick-fil-A. The market salad from Chick-fil-A is off the chain, and I just dogged the hell out of one, okay? What's going on, Maya? Hey, Tracy. Thank y'all for watching. I'm not gonna be long, just hanging out for a second. But Mashika, thank you for the encouragement that you gave me to just go ahead and just jump on and kind of share a little bit of information, especially after our conversation that we had last night. So those of you who don't know me, my name is Tiffany Lipscomb. I'm a life insurance agent. I'm licensed in the state of Tennessee, and I'm also licensed in Georgia. I also have several years experience, actually almost 12 years experience as a probate and estate planning paralegal. So I've helped ultra high net wealth families, multi-millionaire families and individuals preserve and transfer their wealth. So that's kind of my background, my professional background. And I just wanted to share that with you guys for just a moment. But the reason why I'm jumping on, hey Tracy, the reason why I'm jumping on now is because I want to talk about legacy. And I think oftentimes when we have a conversation about legacy, it's always in the context of money. A lot of us are, millionaires in the making, thousandaires in the making, and all of our conversations about legacy seem to be centered around money, making money, being an entrepreneur, not working for the man and just getting out there and pushing and hustling and stacking and securing the bag and just getting your weight up. You know what I mean? And so I think we have just these linear conversations about legacy. And in my personal opinion, legacy encompasses so much more. And I just want you to think about it. In my personal opinion, for example, I have the unique opportunity to sit with families who own businesses. And when I say businesses, I'm talking about businesses that are valued at multiple millions of dollars, 20, 30, 40 million dollars. I'm talking about families who came from inherited wealth and families who built their wealth from the ground up. But what I also have been able to watch and understand is that legacy for these families has they got a shit ton of money, but it's also about the culture of the family. It's about the responsibility that each family member has within the institution of family. And I just want us to kind of open up our dialogue and open up our conversations about legacy. Legacy is not about money. Money and wealth and monetary wealth is just a small portion, a very small portion. These families are having conversations with their children about the responsibility of this money being transferred down to them. They're having conversations about keeping themselves together physically. These families don't have let me just back up. Let me back up for just a second. What I'm trying to say is that the families that I work with and the families that I see that pass down true legacy have take a holistic approach. And I mean, they are watching what they put in their mouths when they sit at the table. They are very aware of the type of conversations that they're having. They're watching who their children hang out with, what their relationships are like. They're observant and very cognizant of the quality of the marriage that they have because typically they are married. Most of the families that I work with. And we need to understand that these things matter. The partner that you choose, the quality of the partner that you choose, it matters when it comes to legacy. the conversations that you're having with your children about these responsibilities that they're going to have down the road when you have amassed this fortune and your culture has changed and the people that you surround yourself with have changed. And so not only have you entered a new dynamic and entered a new space, and entered a new realm, you're going to have conversations with your children because they're going to adopt this same culture. They're going to adopt this same system that you're building, your legacy that you're building. So you need to understand that you can't just put everything in your mouth and think it's going to be okay. You have to be cognizant about your body, your body, how you take care of your body, your mental state, your spiritual state, your relations. All of this come into play when we talk about legacy. And I just wanted to come on and just open up the conversation that we can't be one dimensional when we're talking about legacy. It's an all-encompassing process to quote unquote pass down a legacy. So I want you to be mindful about the relationships that you're building, and mindful that some of the relationships that you have, you got to let them go because they're not going to work within the system and the process and the strategy that you're redefining for your entire family. You're going to be the one to do that. You're going to be the one to change this whole thing around. How your family shows up in the world and the blueprint or the footprint that your family leaves in the world is going to look nothing like what it's seen before. And so you don't necessarily have a blueprint for how this thing is supposed to happen, but there are certain components that you have to be mindful of. And that's just real talk. So you just can't marry who you want to marry. You just can't have kids with who you want to have kids with. You got to dig into these people's backgrounds. You have to dig into their mental state. How are they brought up? You got to ask in-depth questions. You got to become more inquisitive, more investigative, and way more strategic and less emotional about the decisions that you make when it comes to your legacy, period. I think a lot of times we often diminish the strategy part of legacy, the black and white of legacy. And, we talk a big game, but to leave a legacy means to redefine a family, to redefine who you are, to show up in the world in a way that most people never will. So when you talk about leaving a legacy, I need us to be more cognizant that it's more than money. It's way more than money. It's way more than finances. How is your mental state? How's the mental state of the person that you're choosing to marry or partner with and spend time with? What conversations are you having with your kids? What is the household? What's the overall culture of your home? Who are you associating yourself with? And we need to start thinking about these things way more in depth than we do. And because we're having these surface level conversations about legacy, and guys, it's way deeper than becoming an entrepreneur, making the millions of dollars and getting some life insurance and passing it down to your kids. Because what you're going to end up doing is passing this fortune and this financial legacy down to a bunch of irresponsible people who will waste every fucking penny that you work so hard to accumulate. You passing that money down to them will bring more harm than good. You can actually destroy your family if you don't do this thing right. If you don't back up and reassess and understand that you have to build a legacy from the inside out. How is your integrity? What is your character? What do your children see you doing? Because they're going to model what they see you do. They don't give a shit about what you say. So what culture have you created? So I just wanted to come on for just a moment and that was just on my mind. And for those of you who are serious about leaving a legacy, I just wanted to just put this information out there. Just put it out there that oftentimes we have these conversations about legacy and it's always centered around money and hustling and balling and, I'm going to have this business and that business and, I'm going to leave $2 or $3 million or $30 or $40 million to who? When you haven't constructed the core of your family in a way that is going to be a blessing to them anyway. So who are you going to leave this legacy to? A bunch of irresponsible, privileged, kids or family members who don't understand the responsibility that they're going to have because we haven't had the conversations. We have not had the conversations, and I'm talking about monthly and daily and weekly conversations about where you're taking your family. This is not a game. If you're serious about building a legacy and passing that thing down the right way, you got to have some conversations, and you got to have them way more in depth than what we've been having in the past. And I just wanted to put that out there. Like I said, I wasn't going to keep you very long. I appreciate everybody who was able to jump on, everybody who's watching. And I'll be back to share some more information and some more of my thoughts about legacy and estate planning and inheritance and what that really means. And, why you need a trust versus a will. And do you have your powers of attorney in place? Your powers of attorney for financial matters, your powers of attorney for health care. Do you have a health care directive? Do you even know what that means? See, we have to get this structure in place because it would serve the family in no way to have all of this money and not have this money protected, to have all of this access and all of this influence that we're going to come into and not use it to our advantage and not prepare our children and our family for where we're going, not where we are, but for where we're going. And this is a process. This is a marathon. This is not a race. And this is not a game. So that's all I got, y'all. I'm super excited. Kevin, the workout was off the chain. My salad was great. And I'm about to kind of wrap up my night, but I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. And like I said, I'll be back to have more of these conversations, but I hope you have a good night. And just think about it. Every decision that you make every day, every decision that you make will impact your legacy, from what you put in your mouth to how you speak to other people, for the people that you decide to hang out with. Your legacy is made in the very small decisions and incremental decisions that you're challenged with every day. Every day, every decision you make impacts your legacy, can add or detract from the way that you want to show up to the world. So I just wanted to put that out there again. Y'all have a good night. I'll be back. Be blessed. And if you truly serious about this legacy thing, it's got to be first and important. So y'all have a good night, and I'll talk to you later.